Hey internet, okay, so my name is Danielle. This is the game plan, so we all are on the same page. So I am a fiend for contemporary romance, okay? I'm a fiend for contemporary romance, and I'm always doing commentary as if somebody can hear me, as if I'm having a conversation, and then I thought to myself, like, this is what YouTube is for, so you don't actually feel like you're talking to yourself when you actually are, in fact, talking to yourself. So I was like, okay, so the book that we have on deck is called Fumbled by Alexa Martin. I'm going to read to you the summary that is provided, or the synopsis, I don't know. And then we're going to just get into the fact that I'm on page 44 right now, and we're going to just talk about what foolishness is occurring. Also, keep in mind, like, I get my books from my local library, so it is free $99 on the Libby app. So if you like to read contemporary romance books, do that. Also, a lot of other people like to read contemporary romance books, so the waiting lines in my library are literally like 10 weeks long. So that part right there. But anyways, let's go to the summary. A second chance doesn't guarantee a touchdown in this new contemporary romance from the author of Intercepted. Single mother Poppy Patterson moved across the country when she was 16 and pregnant to find a new normal. After years of hard work, she's built a life that she loves. It may include a job at a nightclub, weekend soccer games, and more stretch marks than she anticipated, but it's all hers, and no one can take that away. Well, except for one person. T.K. Moore, the starting wide receiver of the Denver Mustangs, dreamt his entire life of being in the NFL. His world is football, parties, and women. Maybe at one point he thought his future would play out with his high school sweetheart by his side, but Poppy's long gone and he's moved on. When Poppy and TK cross paths in the most unlikely of places, emotions they suppressed for years come rushing back. But with all the secrets they never told each other lying between them, they'll need more than a dating playbook to help them navigate their relationship. Okay, so let's get into the first part. So again, I'm on page 44 and we've gotten basically to this plot line, except for the part where like they start to reveal their secrets. We're not there yet. If you are a contemporary romance book fiend like me, you know the plot structure, you know the arc, you know how it's gonna be, you know how this is gonna end. So this is for us, like, we do this every time, we do this all the time, and yet we keep coming back for more. So anyways, so far in the book, this is what's happened. Miss Thang, Poppy, she's working at a club, at a strip club. That's basically where she's working at, but it's high end, okay? The clientele is not rappers and sports players, it's lawyers and businessmen. So clearly it's different, okay? But no, okay, she's working at a strip club, a cute little classy joint, but she's a waitress at the strip club. So what's happening is, you know, Miss Poppy is beautiful and gorgeous. She's going to go and do her waitress thing, and she sees TK, the formerly mentioned football player, and she spills drinks on everybody on this table because she's so damn nervous. She's just like, spill the drinks, and she just runs. She runs out, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna be employed now. I'm gone, right? So she goes outside to wallow in her own self-pity, and she sees TK there. Oh, did I mention that Poppy's a single mom? Well, the synopsis mentioned that she's a single mom, and by page 44 we learned that the kid is 9. She's 27 right now, and she left her hometown when she was 16 and pregnant and was with TK. So I don't know, might be his kid. Wait for the confirmation, but if we really are getting that kind of story, his kid. Okay, so let's see what's happening. So, okay, quotes to give you an idea of this encounter. He was like, I've missed you. I don't know why you ran from me up there, but seeing you is the best thing to happen in months. And she says, okay, I'm skipping a lot. She says, I hate you, but I've missed you. And then they kiss, and then she's like, oh wait, we can't do this right now. We cannot be together. We're not doing this right now. She thinks she's being fired, but the football player threatened the owner. He's like, well, no one's gonna come back in this club if you fire her, so don't fire her. I'm going to give this. So I think it is his kid. I'm just gonna let this quotation happen. So it's basically, I take a deep breath and ignore TK. I walk through the door with my head held high and TK's eyes burning a hole through the back of my head. But I still have my secret. One neither of us is ready to talk about. One that will stay where it's supposed to if he listens to me and leaves me alone. But like I said, my luck is crap, and I need to prepare. TK is not the only one for a shock. Ace is gonna be pissed. Ace is the child. Mama, I had cause he's 9 now. That is old enough to be like, now I know I've had a father this whole time and he hasn't been here. And especially if it's because she didn't tell him. Maybe she thought, oh well, my family, maybe her, I'm not sure. I'm not there yet. We don't know. We're making speculations, as we do our book club. Maybe she's thinking, oh my God, like, if my family, they said, oh, you have this kid, and they said, get your ass out. You have a child, bye. So maybe she thought he was going to do the same thing, but we don't know. We don't know. We're not there. Yeah, right now, where I am at page 44, they're going to a soccer game with the kid. The kid is, does kid things, and the kid looks like the father. They both have green eyes. That's really the only thing that I've learned about the father. Like, he has green eyes and long hair. So, that's him. The kind of situation I'm feeling like we're gonna have is basically like you didn't tell me I had a kid, girl. And then she's gonna be like, well, I don't know. I don't know why I like these kind of stories, but anyways. We'll catch back in, we'll get back in touch when we have a new development. Even worse. Her son now, in this book, is begging for her to let him play football. Jesus, help me, please. Please. Okay, folks, we're on page 47, and guess what? So TK knew that she was pregnant and she was supposed to get an abortion. Well, the kid is here. I guess that answers that question. Okay, folks, we're on page 49, and I know I'm giving a lot of details now, like so soon. The exposition is literally no one at all. And then that is when I got hit on head as a baby, and that's why right now I'm so freaking horrible as a human being, because I can't help it. I was hit in the head by a baby, like no one asked. But I guess, it's important to answer our questions, like, oh, TK didn't know he had a kid? Now we know why. So second thing is, the reason why she's in Denver, from where she used to live before, I don't remember, is because her auntie was the only one who accepted her. The family was like, oh, you're pregnant? Bye, bitch. Bye. But the auntie was like, come here, I'll take care of you. So that's it. And she's dead. And she gifted them a house and a car. Okay, y'all, another update. We're on page 51. I'm gonna just read this direct quote, okay? So she basically said, her kid is trying to go to a sleepover, and the kid next door, his name is Jaden, or down the street, his name is Jaden, and he's like, hey, come over, Ace, which is her kid's name. Quote unquote, oh, let me do it in a little kid voice. This is Jaden. Oh, and my dad told me to tell you to come over too. Unquote. I bet he did. I fight the urge to roll my eyes, but since they're already twitching, I'm not sure my efforts are successful. Lesson for those who are interested. Don't sleep with your kid friend's dad. I'm here for the drama. I have to remember that. Right? I'm here for the adrenaline, the drama, and the tea. Regardless, we're gonna keep going. I'll tell you guys what happens. Okay, can I go on a side tangent right quick? Okay, can I go on a side tangent real quick? This character, the protagonist, the lady character, she is a black lady. I don't know about you, but it kind of hurts when I see black women in media. All the interactions seem to be centered, not all, but one of the side conflicts is the fact that we're black. And I get it. It's hard to be a black lady in America. I know that. Black lady in America. However, I'm tired of it being saturated in my media. I'm absolutely exhausted. Exhausted. Let me give you the little line that made me go on this side tangent, okay? They said this. And I won't lie, I do some of these things, okay? But this is example number 1. This man is being inappropriate, not TK, some random dude. So, set it up for TK to be the hero of the day, regardless. Random dude is being inappropriate and just doing too much. He touches her hair and he says, "Oh, pretty. Is that yours?" Really, guys? Really? Even if this is the experience, I don't need it all the time. I don't know why, but I've been on this string of reading books that feature Black women as the protagonist, but I'm tired. Not like our whole experience is not being Black ladies.
Hello, this is Editing Danny, and I'm going to kind of wrap up what I feel about this because I actually differ from what I felt before. A lot of Black media where there's Black women in it, a lot of it focuses on our struggle as Black women, and I understand because again, Black lady in America. However, I just want content that does not always have to reflect our struggle. That's what I'm basically saying. At the same time, this book may not be geared towards Black audiences. Maybe it's geared to all romance reading people, and some of those people may not be Black ladies. So maybe it's supposed to highlight in some kind of way, a nice subtle way, kind of the experiences of Black women in America. So I'll give the author that. I just made that overall comment on a media that has Black women in it. I'm tired of the struggle. Like, we know it by now. Let's do something different. And I actually gave a really good example in the past clip, but you're not going to see it. I'm just going to explain it now. Sherry and You season 3. Lady living her life, being a girl boss, doing her gatekeeping thing. I like that because it's just Sherry being a shallow and that's it. It's not like the struggle. It's Sherry. That's it. And I love that. So kind of more of that in addition to what we already have.
Okay, guys. So now we are on chapter 5. And this is what's happened so far. The reason why I decided to check in on a chapter 5 is because they've officially had another meeting. He came to the club while she was working, and they had a talk outside. They'd had a kiss, and now they're going on a date. And her biggest dilemma at this point in time, is telling him about the child. When I read these stories, I would like to believe that I'd meet someone, a man who's this persistent, or just respectfully persistent. But you know what? Let's manifest. Chapter 5. I'll update you guys, I guess, after the date. Y'all, okay, so now we are on page 92. She's finally told this man that he has a kid. Very ungraceful. Let me share with you guys direct quotes, okay? So we can get the same excitement. Okay, I'm excited because right now, let me set the scene. They're at a bowling alley. They did bowling. They went to arcade games. They had some food. They're about to go get milkshakes. They've had a lot of drinks. She had wine before she went out on the date, and she had lots of alcoholic beverages. So she's pretty loose lips. She said, "I have to tell you something." He said, "Oh." He said, "What is it?" She said, "I have a kid." I blurted out before I can change my mind. He said, "Wow, a kid? That's great, Poppy." BS. She said, "Yes, and he's a really great kid. The best, actually." And he said, "I'm sure he is. You're his mom." She said, "Thanks. He's 9. His name is Ace and he's yours." And she blurts that out later on. But basically, I wanted to share with you guys that, yes, we finally come to that moment. But before this, she was just thinking about the amount of guilt she felt because her son basically wants a father figure. Like, he gets embarrassed during Father's Day when they have to do stuff for their fathers, and he looks at the other children with their fathers kind of in sadness. So she tore that ish up. The reaction is not horrible. Oh, now it's horrible. Oh my god. Now it's not good. It's very bad. Okay. At first he was like, but then he's like, I can't believe you're doing this. You know how many people try to do this to me? No. Not again. My mom told me not to come and talk to you. Okay? Accusatory words gone crazy. He said, you're so full of sugar right now. I can't even believe it. Find some other sucker to pin your kid on. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Page 96, y'all. Page 96. Okay, folks, we are officially at chapter 10, page 115. And TK and her and Ace ran into each other. So basically, Ace is the child. He's doing soccer. He's saying, yay, mommy, I'm good at soccer. And she was talking to TK because TK just happened to be in the area. And he's like, hey, you're TK Moore. And he's like, oh no, that mofo looks just like me. He said, oh, you were playing. Where were you? And she's like, no, I was not. Love that for her. Love the sweet satisfaction. Because he really came here and he said, I need to apologize for things I said last night, but you need to apologize to me too. And she's like, what? And he's like, you know, for you trying to pin your kid on me. See, I guess I understand, because if you're a famous person, especially famous male, because you know men, you probably have a lot of people trying to say, oh yeah, that's your child, that's your child, that's your child. So I'd understand if he completely always gets accusations and he's like, oh, okay, another one bites the dust. So we are now on chapter 10. I will probably come back to y'all when he gets the lawyers. Because knowing this kind of story, law. Okay? Okay, so we're back. I just want to do a small commentary. When thinking about this whole situation where she got pregnant in high school and she had to leave because of pregnancy, in a book such as this, do you think that he knew that she was pregnant? Ladies and gentlemen, no. So he didn't know. His mom is giving plausible deniability. Chapter 11, they're about to break the news to the little boy. So if I was a little boy, I know trauma. Trauma. I've been traumatized, okay? Imagine your mom telling you this. Hey, baby. So here's your dad. I know he hasn't been here for 9 years, but here he goes.
Later that same evening.
So she's finally told her kid that the TK is the father. So this kid, you know, she made him a cute little breakfast. Oh, did I tell you she got fired? Because she's unemployed. Time to get some unemployment checks. No, she's unemployed because essentially after TK started seeing her, they only went on one date. But after that, none of the football players came to the club anymore. And the boss was like, you're hurting my pockets. So you're going to have to go. Because TK, one of the girls who worked at the club, even called TK. And he said, it's because of whatever her name is, that I'm not coming. So she's really hurting profits. She's hurting business. So they let her go. Regardless, she told the son about the father, and he was like, let me go and clean my room. He's coming out too. Let me go clean my room. Like, that's so cute. It's so crazy to read because I have to remember that this man was made by a woman, this kid was made by a woman, and this woman was made by a woman. So this is all things that are, you know, based on a foundation of the female perspective. Regardless, the kid was like, let me go clean my room. And she told him that the father was TK, and he was like, TK, he's famous. Yes. And honestly, let me find out that my parent is famous. Everyone's gonna know. Everybody's gonna know that's my parent. Oh, they haven't met though. TK and the kid haven't met though, so we're getting there. We're getting there. And we're on chapter 13 right now.
Tomorrow for sure.
Folks, we are joined for an edition in the car. When I did this yesterday, I actually ended up reading a lot more in bed before I went to sleep, and I ended up reading a lot more when I woke up this morning. So I've got a lot. We're gonna do updates, and I put bookmarks on the things that I thought were interesting to talk about, so I'm gonna do that. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what happened from last video to this video, but they basically had the whole reunion and it was cute, and now they have the official declaration that they want to be together as like a thing. I mean, besides Ace, the child. This is what TK says to Poppy. That's her name. He says, "I'm here for Ace. I already love that kid. He is the shit, and I don't want to miss out on another minute of him. But he's not the reason why I want to explore things with you. If anything, he's the reason we should stick to being friends." But now they're like, we don't want to be friends. We want to be more than friends. But honestly, if you're in this situation, having a kid with some man who you haven't seen in 10 years, I would understand wanting to be friends with them and not wanting to try out a relationship, because you just got into this co-parenting relationship and then you want to add the layers. But regardless, that is the first thing that has happened here that I wanted to mention. Another thing that's happened is she got attacked. Like, she didn't get attacked, but this man, not TK, sent her flowers to the doorstep and gave her a little bit of a cryptic message, i.e., you're going to be mine eventually. TK is now moved in because he's like, what? A catalyst for me to come in the house? Okay. But basically he wants to know that she's safe. So he moves in, he buys her security system, he puts up a gate. She didn't want to move in with TK, so TK moved in to the house. Page 199. So she's basically gone to the part where she has had her first training day experience. So she's meeting the other football wives / girlfriends, and they're petty. Okay, first of all, most of them are rich and elegant, because have you guys seen NFL spouses and stuff like that? Very rich, Gucci, Chanel looking ladies dressed to the nines and giving her the stare down because she's giving Target Walmart realness. So she is feeling insecure, kind of, but not really. She meets this character named Dixie Thompson, and if you read the other book made by this same author, Intercepted, you'll see some recurring characters. So she's back to being a B.I.T. She orange, and she's basically giving Southern realness. So she told her that, oh yeah, I'm here with TK more, and Dixie said, oh, well, bless your little heart, isn't that just special? That's verbal Southern for, but she's made friends with other people. Their name is Charlie and Ivani, and she's friends with them, and they seem to be cool with each other. So she has friends, it's great. And she also has her friend Sadie, who, you know, she does that like protagonist best friend role. Oh my god, stop it, you did not. Like, she's us, but in the book, you know, enjoying all the drama, i.e. that's why we read these stories. Bookmarked page 251. Ace is very talented with football, but Mama's like, you're not playing football. I actually liked this part when she talked about why she doesn't want Ace playing football. She basically didn't want him playing football because the brain injury, and that's her only kid, and she just feels strongly about him being safe. What I would liked is that TK took that into consideration and was like, okay, I'll back you up on that. That is very awesome and respectable, because the other things that we see out of this character, TK, is that he's just goofy. And now we're starting to see more mature aspects of his personality. I think things like that, being able to have a conversation, because, you know, these contemporary romance characters do not know how to have a conversation and do not know how to converse like adults. But when I do see characters do that, it's just like, thank God. Thank the Lord. I bookmarked page 335. Bookmarked this because she's going to his first game of the season, and he is like the shit in the town. Like, introduce the players, the crowd gets really excited for his entrance. So he's just really important in this fictional world. And so she's just having a good time and meeting people. She meets his manager. So if you read the previous book, you'll meet the manager too. His name is Donnie. He curses a lot. And you know what? Same. He does not like TK's mom. We don't like TK's mom either. He doesn't like TK's mom, so we like him. 337. So we're due for some hot ass tea in about 30 pages. Then we're due for, a culmination or separation in about 20 to 30 pages after that. Then we're due for some good, happy things, 30 pages. And if you guys are smut readers, this book is not for you. This book is not for you. None of these books are for you. Because it's nice, wholesome material. Because we're wholesome people. I'm here to talk to you guys. I'm gonna talk when I'm completely done with the story and just give you some of my thoughts, some of the bookmark pages. Bye!
Much later.
Y'all, I am back for my third and last installment of talking about this book, Fumble. So we're just gonna explain these bookmarks and just talk about the book and how we feel now that we reached the end of the book, okay? Let's get into the fact that I did a little bit of background research. So the author's name is Alexa Martin. So she's actually a writer and she was an NFL wife for 8 years. So a lot of this makes more sense about the dynamics she's talking about and things of that sort. And I guess the fears that are presented through the character Poppy. Because in this last part of the book, we're really getting into her fears about football. And, we first were presented with this idea when she said, Ace, you're never going to be playing tackle football and that's on me. But now we're going to be able to see the manifestations of, her fears in her love interest TK as we go. Another thing that I didn't really talk about was the fact that she's always acknowledging that TK has a temper. Like at first, she's like, oh, that's weird. He kind of stomped out. He's acting a little aggressive, but she's constantly talking about how, oh, he never used to act like that before. He used to be very calm and now he's not. So at first I thought this was trivial, but turns out it actually means something. Let's get into the sections that I've bookmarked for today. They're at the first game and guess what happens? TK gets a concussion. TK gets a fucking concussion. So after they go and do the job, blah, 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 he's out here running and he hits somebody. He gets a concussion and they take him to like this tent or this place where he can rest up and get better and get checked out by the medics. And they meet him there, right? They meet him there and he's like, I'm fine. And in her head, she's like, nah, I told you. This was what I was scared of, and you're still getting hit. So CTE is basically this disease process, and it happens due to repeated head injury. The symptoms of CTE initially are a change of behavior. Someone may become more aggressive. That is a little bit of an idea of CTE that's relevant to this story. And she's thinking like, okay, look at this man. He got a concussion. I'm so scared. And Ace is looking petrified. He is looking very scared. So they go and they meet TK inside the tent. And TK is like, I'm fine, babe. Don't worry about me. We'll be okay. But she, in the back of her mind, she wants to start fighting. She wants to be like, I told you this is what happens when you play football. No, he convinced her to come for one more game. One more game. He's like, just come for one more game. Because she's really ready to tap out. She's like, this just might be the time. Deuces, but no. One more game. Now, this was a cute little, detour from the main drama that we're having with Poppy and her concerns about football and TK changing. The mother, Lydia, she was pregnant and she was sending messages to TK like, hey, I'm pregnant. Well, it turns out TK never got those messages. And he never ignored the calls because he never got the calls. And when she went to go and see TK, she saw Lydia, and Lydia was like, TK's mother, here's a check. Go get an abortion. Bye. So Lydia hates this girl's guts because in true contemporary romance fashion, she's a rich mama and she don't want her son with this off the streets poor child. So now years, we're in the future now, 10 years later, and Lydia comes to go see this girl. Guess who gives Lydia her address? Donnie, that side character who's here to be messy. She comes and she's basically like, you're the reason my son won't talk to me. You are the reason at first I told you to leave this boy alone, but now he's out here not talking to me and you're trying to steal his money. So They fight, and TK is about to go in on her. TK shows up and he's like, I'm about to tell you about yourself, but guess what? She's like, oh no, don't do that. She's like, Jill, don't do that. Poppy says that, and he doesn't. Well, after Lydia leaves, TK basically storms off for a drive like a child. And I was just like, okay. But again, we're getting these little aggressive CTE. The next part I bookmark is page 400. So we're in the 400s now. Home stretch, almost done. The second game has arrived, okay? TK's got fans. It's going, right? TK gets in another collision. And this one is bad because he becomes hospitalized. So he's in the hospital. And Ace, baby Ace, you know what Ace says? Tell TK to get better. So up until this point, well, except for the first initial meeting, Ace has been calling TK dad, right? So he's been calling TK dad for a while. But now he's back to being TK. You know what that means. Alienation. You just got to separate that man in your mind, because I bet the child is going through a lot. Okay, you get this new dad and suddenly he's always getting concussions. Regardless, Poppy meets TK in the hospital. She goes in the hospital, she meets him. He is conscious. That is good. He's alert and oriented and conscious. They talk. They're like, hi. And Poppy's like, we're not doing this anymore. And he's like, what? What do you mean we're not doing this anymore? She's like, I've got to break up with you because I'm not going to make you choose us over football. So you don't have to choose. We're done. We're done. We're not going to be together because I can't keep seeing you get hurt and stuff like that. After that, she's brokenhearted. She is in her feelings. She is down in the dumps because she really just broke up with her childhood love. So she's really in it. But you gotta do what you gotta do, especially when your childhood love seems hell-bent on. We're now at page 246. So this is after the whole confrontation. She's having her bad times and she's going back to work. Now she got fired from her original job. She got a job at a new place. This new place is fabulous. Okay, fabulous. So she's been working there and having a fabulous time. Okay, it's a girls' bar. It's a bar catered to women. This man from the club. So I really do not pay attention to these side characters. I don't, but apparently he's important. This man from the club, he comes and she's already like, ew, right? And there's also this controversy about her having been a stripper because, oh yeah, we're actually getting into that. So there's this controversy on the blogs calling her a stripper. They're like, oh, this girl was a stripper, TK. So this man comes from the club she used to work in. And he comes in here like, TK Moore is gonna fuck you over, right? He can get any piece of ASS in Colorado. Hell, probably the nation. Because the way that they describe TK Moore in this book, yeah, I'd agree and I believe it too. They said you need to leave him before he leaves you. I wasn't the only one in the club who wanted a chance with you. And you know what? This is when her wheels in her head start to click. She said, are you the one who left the notes and flowers in my house to this random bar guy? And he's like, oh, no, that's not me. Because she started talking about how she called the police. She's ready to arrest him. But he just spills the beans because guess what? Would you want to go to jail for this random girl? No. It's this girl named Rochelle. So in the beginning of the book, Rochelle worked in the club with her and Rochelle did not like her. Rochelle was also the one who called TK and was like, why are you not coming over? And that was when TK was like, because I got a girl and I'm not coming over. So he's the one who low-key got her fired. She was the one who low-key got her fired. And she hates her guts, essentially. So she's petty, but apparently she has too much time on her hands because sending somebody flowers, because flowers are expensive, okay? As well as literally sending some random man to come and harass her at her new job and spreading rumors that this girl was a stripper. This is just too much energy for some simple beef. Like, I don't know about y'all, but when I don't like people, I just ignore them. I don't fixate my time, okay? Because all of this planning took time. My money, energy, literally getting in touch with blogs and getting her fired. Like, this is just too much for not liking someone. Just leave them alone, girl. But anyways, her name is Rochelle. Rochelle really has a true vendetta against this girl. So that is the end of that situation, the threatening stalker vibe situation. Okay, so the next part that I highlighted was this part. It was literally right after the bar thing when Jacob got kicked out and they told her to go home. Her friends start bringing her home, but she gets a call from the school, and the school's like, Ace was supposed to be picked up. She's like, man, now I gotta go and check up on TK. So she sends one of her friends to go pick up Ace, and she goes to go talk to TK. She knocks on the door. TK is freaking asleep. So TK sleeps and forgets this. And this is why it's significant that he's forgetful. It's another early symptom of CTE, as well as the fact that he never used to be forgetful. That's why it's significant. It's not significant that he's forgetful, because if you're like me, I'm a forgetful girl. But I've always been forgetful. If I turn out to be more forgetful, it's like, are we surprised? No. But for someone like TK, who used to always know everything and used to be meticulous with details, he forgot to go get Poppy this job, because essentially that's what he was supposed to do in the first place. And second of all, he forgot to go pick up his kid. So at first, I didn't think it was important that he forgot to pick up his kid. I'm going to be honest, because I feel like we've all been left by our parents, because I know I have. I know that I've been forgotten to be picked up before, because I was sitting at that school good 3 hours after I was supposed to be picked up, and they just forgot about me. So it happens. But if this is a pattern and he never used to be like this, so she goes and meets TK, right? She's like, oh, TK, what is up with you? And TK gets in his feelings. TK gets in his feelings for real. And she's not even being combative. She's really not. So he's like, you and Ace are the one good thing I had left, and you left. Okay, yelling. Okay, and she's just thinking, oh no, ma'am. You are not okay. You have mood swings, and you get super mad, and you used to never get this mad. You are forgetful. I think you have CTE. So he just says, no. He's just a denial. But you know what she does? She leaves. And he says, tell Ace I'm sorry. And you know what? For 5 weeks, this dude does not call. He does not text. He doesn't see Ace, nothing. 5 weeks is a long time. So she's living her best life. She's doing her regular things. And this notification comes on ESPN. TK retired. TK retired. Okay, so TK is out the game, right? So she's like, oh my God, this man has hit his head. And she goes and seeks him out. Well, walks out the door, la 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 la. Guess who's there? TK. He is there, you know. So TK's there, and she's like, you retired? And then they have this whole reunion. So let's get into the cute little reunion, the resolution of this. Essentially, he hears the voice of reason. So he went to go and look things up, and he went to go to a clinic to get treated. He decided to retire because he knew that it was a devolving situation. It was not going to get better from here. And he did eventually end up getting money, though, through an investment, or through his contract. There's a clause that was put in there. So he did end up getting some money. So they're set, okay? They're not going to have to want for anything. And he's got investments. And he ended up also getting a house down the street. So he sold his other house because his mom ended up wanting him to get that house. And it was just really big and flashy. But he got another house, a cute little house down the street. And that's basically it. She's still working at the bar. The nice bar, not the club with the weird men. The nice bar. And we have just reached the end of our story. So how do I feel about the story? I feel... it was okay. It was a decent read. It's not a story that I'd remember. So I know the difference between an okay contemporary and a really good one. It's a story that I will remember. This, probably not going to remember it, but I did enjoy it. I learned something new. We learned about CTE and those warning signs. And I think it was more interesting that this character, this male character, I like the stories where the protagonists know each other prior to, you know, going and having their little love story, because it makes it more realistic. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. This is my first one, and I would love to continue to talk more about this kind of books because I love contemporary romance. And other books. We can read other books too because we have range. But anyways, bye!